Hi, this is Dr. Sana Hashmi, and this week in my Print Eye on China column, I analyze the Chinese discourse on how they are viewing and how they are actually spreading disinformation about Rafale, and and this was actually a report by French military intelligence that was told to Associated Press about how Chinese defense attaché abroad have been kind of sabotaging the sale of the fighter jet in countries such as Indonesia, Egypt, etc. So, in the wake of Operation Sindoor, China hasn't just been watching. I think this is something that we have already established. This has been a consistent part of the story and the narrative that how China has been a third party to the conflict between India and Pakistan, and it was actually a proxy war for Pakistan. So China has been talking, and China has been acting a lot as well, specifically in its digital space. And it's primarily not through official channels, but through disinformation, digital campaigns, and behind the scenes diplomatic pressure. And all this is aimed at one target, the Rafale. Why? Because for Beijing, this isn't just about India. This isn't just about India and Pakistan. It's also about reordering the global arms market and in its favor, and France is in the way. So I think what they are trying to do is to trying to build a narrative against France. So India is just not its only target. France is actually on the top of the list, specifically when it comes to establishing itself as a top player in the uh, global arms industry. So, on the surface, this may look like a regional rivalry, but China's narrative war against Rafale has much bigger ambitions, and it wants to discredit the French defense industry as a whole and present Chinese alternatives like the G10CE and the J35 as a cheaper, more reliable, and geopolitical safer options. And in fact, a recurring phrase, a recurring headline, and the narrative in Chinese media is that India's Rafale cannot compete with China's J10C, as in this is a very very common headline that I have come across on Chinese platforms, and this has been echoed across platforms like Weibo, state media such as Phoenix TV, CCTV, where Rafale is branded as outdated, overpriced, and underperforming. And this narrative has been amplified since May 17 aerial clashes between India and Pakistan. So, in fact, the French military intelligence report claim isn't just abstract. The online chatter in China actually mirrors this push, actually corroborates this story that is coming out of France. So, from supposed maintenance problems to insinuations about a crash in Egypt, Chinese outlets have painted Rafale as poor investment, one that only appeals to countries desperate for Western favors. And in fact, a scholar, Wang Mingliang of the Academy of Military Sciences, he argued that the Pakistani Air Force took just 12 seconds to complete its kill chain, from detecting a target to neutralizing it, while the Indian Air Force takes 30 seconds. So the implication from his perspective is clear that Rafale is too slow, too complex, and no match for the Chinese systems in a real fight. Of course, this is all being said without any evidence, without a shred of evidence, without any primary source. So this is something that has been a chatter. This is primarily to shape the narrative to favor the Chinese defense industry. And a viral Weibo post put it bluntly, buying the F-31 is a protection money to the US. Buying Rafale makes the countries who are actually buying the jet join the EU circle of friend, whereas Chinese arms come without strings but also without political protection. So this isn't, according to Chinese view, this isn't just about um, advancing defense capabilities. This isn't just about buying the jets. It's also about kind of getting the favor from the countries these weapons are being bought from. So it's actually, if we look deeper, if we analyze these lines and these narrative, this actually a revealing line. So China is telling buyers that we'll sell you weapons, but do not expect us to defend you. And this is something that they're trying to say, that if these countries are buying weapons from the Western countries, though there is this is kind of an insurance, they might be able to become security guarantor along with the weapons that they are buying from the Western countries. So that's the crux of the information war that we are seeing with respect to India Pakistan conflict, which is still going on, and with respect to the French military industrial complex. And in many arms deals, the hardware is only half the story. The other half is alliance, the other half is the partnership, training, logistics, and the geopolitical shelter. And China knows it cannot yet offer the full package, so it is trying to undercut competitors where it can. Even as the J-35 drew praise at the Paris Air Show, there's a lot of complaint within the Chinese strategic community, within the commentators, who actually lamented their frustration that why are Rafale still being sold. And despite the smear campaign, there is not much impact on the French defense industry. The answer, some in the Chinese circle admitted, lies in politics. France brings partnerships, China for now brings just hardware and uncertainty. This neutrality, according to the Chinese, this no strings attached um, defense arms sale is something that is not really benefiting China for now. So the message from Beijing is very clear that the global defense market is no longer neutral. Every sale is a statement, and China wants to win buyers. But first, it wants to weaken the story that Rafale and by extension Europe, by extension France, offer something more just than machines. And it's just not a battle in the skies, it's a battle over narratives, trust, and alignment. And this alignment is more about China eventually becoming a leader in military industrial complex. It's also about China becoming and overtaking the Western countries uh, to become the top global weapon trader in the world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.